Don't be polite.
Bite in.
Pick it up with your finger.
And lick the juice that may run down your chin.
It's ready and ripe now, whenever you are.
You do not need a knife.
Or fork. Or spoon.
Or plate.
Or napkin.
Or tablecloth.
For there is no core.
Or stem.
Or rind. Or pit.
Or seed.
Or skin.
To throw away.
Listen, now verse should be as natural as a small tuber that feeds on muck and grows slowly from the obtuse soil and lets us have the immortal flower of beauty.
Natural hell? What was it Chaucer said about the toil that goes like blood to the poem's making? Leave it to nature, and the verse sprawls as limp as bindweed. If it break at all life's iron crust. Man, you have to sweat and rhyme your guts taut if you build your verse ladder.
You speak as though no sunlight has ever shined on the cloudy path.
Sunlight's a thing that needs a window before it enters a dark room. Windows don't happen.
So too old poets.
Hunched at their beer in the low haze of an inn parlor.
While the talk ran noisily by them.
Glib with prose.
While it's still light out.
Set the table for one.
A red linen tablecloth.
One white plate.
A bowl for the salad.
And the proper silverware.
Take out a 3-pound leg of lamb. Rub it with salt, pepper, and cumin.
Then push in 2 cloves of garlic, place the splinters.
Place it in a 325-degree oven and set the timer for an hour.
Put some vegetables into a pot with some herbs.
And the crudest olive oil you can find.
Heat on low flame.
Clean the salad. Be sure the dressing is made with fresh dill, mustard, and the juice of hard lemons.
Open a bottle of late harvest Zinfandel, open it up and let it breathe on the table.
Pour yourself a glass of cold California Chardonnay and go to your study and read.
As the story unfolds, you'll begin to smell the lamb and the vegetables.
This is the best part of the evening.
The food cooking. The armchair.
The book and bright flavor of the chilled wine.
When the timer goes off, toss the salad, and then prepare the vegetables and the lamb.
Bring them out to the table.
Light the candle and pour the red wine into your glass.
Before you begin to eat, raise your glass in honor of yourself.
The company is the best you'll ever have.
The way in is only hinted at. A crevice between cloves.
A darkness revealed by the ripping away of papery layers of husk.
Flipped up like a girl's hair.
In there it could be thighs, hidden in the clean curves of the Arctic banks.
It could be a sepia enlargement of a familiar but unidentifiable detail of the human form.
Or it could be one of Georgia O'Keeffe's desert bones.
Or the very insides of a calla lily.
Or the ivory shadow that hides within an intricate Chinese carving.
It could be the tooth of the tooth fairy.
It could be the night that hides between 2 words.
Mom's got this taco guy's poem taped to the fridge. Some ode to celery, which she is always talking about. The celery, not the poem, which talks a lot about green angels and fragile corsets. I don't get it, but Mom says by the time she's finished reading it, she forgets she's hungry. 1 stalk for breakfast, along with half a grapefruit and a glass of aloe vera juice. You know that stuff that comes from cactus? And 1 stalk for lunch, along with some protein drink that tastes like dried placenta.
Oh my gosh, did you know that they put cow placenta in face makeup, and things like that?
Yuck. Well, Mom says it's never too early to wish you look different, which means I gotta eat that crap too. Mom says your body is a temple, not the place all good Twinkies go to. Mom says that boys remember girls who are slender. Mom says that underneath all this fat, there's a whole new me when I'd really like if I gave myself a chance. Mom says you are what you eat, which is why she eats celery, because she wants to be thin, not green and stringy, of course. Am I talking too fast? But thin. As paper. Like the hearts we cut out and send to ourselves. Don't tell anyone. Like the hearts of gold melon we eat. Down to the bitter rind.
Now,
Said the cook.
teach you how to stuff a pepper with rice. You approach, it's always from the backside. Perched on green buttocks, the pepper sleeps in its silk tights. It dreams of somersaults and parsley.
Of the days when the sexes were one.
Slash open the sleeve as if you were cutting a paper lantern and enter a moon spilled out like a melon.
A fever of pearls, a conversation of glaciers.
It is a temple built to the worship of morning light. I have sat under the great globe of seeds on the roof of that chamber, too dazzled to gather the taste I came for. I've taken pepper in hand, smooth and blind, a runt rich in the evolution of roses and ferns. You say I've not yet taught you how to stuff a pepper? Cooking takes time. Next time we'll consider the rice.
The main cook lies sick on a banquette, and his assistant has cut his thumb.
So the quiche cook takes their places at the 8-burner range.
And you and I get to roll out 23 rounds of pie dough and crack 100 eggs, 4 to crack.
And sift out shells with a china cap.
Pack spinach in the steel stink, squish and squeeze the water out.
And grate a full moon of cheese.
Pam, the pastry chef, she's baking chocolate globs, once called mulattoes, complains about the disco.
Which Lewis, the salad man, turns up louder out of spite.
Black so-called musician.
Broads, whites.
The porters who speak French from the Ivory Coast sweep up droppings and wash the pans without soap.
We won't be out of here till 3 a.m.
In this basement, I lose my size. I'm a bent-over child, a Gretel or Jill, and I can lift a pot as big as a tub with both hands.
Using a pitchfork, you stoke the bacon and the broccoli.
Then I find you in the freezer taking a nibble of a slab of chocolate as big as a table.
We put the quiches in the oven, then we are able to stick our heads up out of the sidewalk into the night.
And wonder at the clean diners behind the glass and the candlelight.
Advancing years may bring about a rather sweet nostalgia.
In spite of rheumatism and gout.
And certainly neuralgia.
And so, when we have churned our way
Through luncheon and matinee?
We gratefully to bed retire, obsessed with an acute desire.
to face our aching, creaking vertebrae and have a little something on a tray. Some aging ladies with a groan renounce all beauty lotion.
They dab their brows with eau de cologne.
And turn to their devotions.
We face the process of decay.
Attired in a negligee.
And with hot bottles at our toes, we cozily in bed repose.
Enjoying in a rather languid way.
A little eggy something on a tray.
Advancing years, though many dread, still have their compensations.
We turn when youth and passions have fled to more sedate sensations, and when we've fought our way through some exhausting social day.
We thankfully to bed retire with pleasant book and crackling fire.
And like Salome in a bygone day,
Enjoy a little something on a tray. When weary from the fray,
Something on a tray.
sends weariness away.
Something on the tray.
Thank God.
And thank God, we say.
For something on a tray.
Another thing I'd rather not know about myself is what a good soldier I'd make. A man and a woman come into the coffee shop and talk about a dinner party menu like it's a divorce settlement. I watch them sit down, each ready to write and argue, and he suggests jambalaya, and she says she's okay with that, to which he says, "You don't sound okay with that." To answer, it's spelled out, so she can't type the decision on her laptop, but she does, finally. And I don't mean to say I'd be a good killer, just good like she is at taking small deaths in. He's shot. All right, it's happened, I would think, because that's what I've thought at every bad turn in life. Tire blown, it's happened. Money gone, it's happened. Pipes broken, so the sewage has been piling under the house for a month, it's happened. And we're going to have to get a pump in there to siphon it out. Like the woman pecking now without grudge at the keys that make the word jambalaya, I'm quick to forgive and get on. And I can see there on the battlefield, where nowadays robots, I'm told, rank and move with the regiment, and it's not so much a field with two sides charging as a zone in which every bit of live body heat is fair game, where we're all programmed for peace until a voice echoes in our helmet that says, "Fire at will," and "Fire we will," all of us. And I think I'd be good at staying willing, at letting each little hit happen, because there, it's happened, and isn't it little? Doesn't the grand amount of flame-tinted shadows on the infrared scanner make it so? Yes, I'd be such a good killer. For when the fire came back at us, too, and you fell next to me, I would forgive the fire and get on with firing at him. I'd forget about you and engage. I'd be okay with that.
They were like old soldiers, gnarled limbs, grizzled with lichen, the way they staggered and rose down the hill. In spring, they sprouted sparse flags and waved them foolishly at the jays.
Moles at their feet carved generations of mansions.
Rotted and aging in place, they were those old fathers we never had.
A company of lost men.
In the backyard at night, bare feet on the braille of root and stone, I heard them. Faint cries, calls in the dark like at Vicksburg. Any of you boys from Missouri seen my father, my brother?
There's snow on the distant ridge, sky blanketing down.
After she's gone to camp, in the early evening, I clear Liddy's breakfast dishes from the rosewood table. I find a small crystallized pool of maple syrup, the grain standing there, round in the night. I touch it with my fingertip as if I could read it, this raised dot of amber sugar. And at this time, when I think of my father, I wonder why I think of my father, with the beautiful blood-red glass in his hand, or his hair, gleaming like black broken open coal. I think I learned to love the little things about him because of all of the big things I could not love. No one could. It would be wrong to. So when I fix on this tin image of resin, or sweep together with the heel of my hand a pile of my son's sunburn peels, like insect wings, where I peeled his back the night before camp, I'm doing something I learned early to do. I'm paying attention to small beauties, whatever I have, as if it were our duty to find things to love, to bind ourselves to this world.
oranges of the island are like blazing fire amongst the emerald boughs.
And the lemons are like the paleness of a lover who has spent the night crying.
Yesterday at lunchtime, I bought this huge orange. The size of it made us all laugh. I peeled it and shared it with Robert and Dave. They got quarters and I had a half. And that orange, it made me so happy, as ordinary things often do just lately. The shopping, the walk in a park, this is basic contentment. It's new. The rest of the day went quite easy. I did all the jobs on my list and enjoyed them and had some time over. I love you. I'm glad I exist.
Dinner at a small restaurant I have happened upon by chance. After a long day walking the city of Tunis, a neighborhood place among passageways of date palms, clean and friendly, where I am catered to like a meteorite crash landed in the courtyard. Cracked grains and parsley, tuna fish, coarse bread, a salad of chopped and spicy peppers, and then dessert. And suddenly everything is washed away. Dust of the Sahara upon my tongue, odor of sour clove at the heart of the media, the alienation of foreign currency, the sorrow of the alley cats among the ruins of Carthage, its weird light and fragmented crypts, headless torsos, fields sown with salt, exile and loss, even my harrowing loneliness, redeemed by a saucer of sweet and liquid yogurt. Golden clementines from a branch freshly cut, stems and leaves still attached, an inchworm marking the course of his dinner, gratefully undisturbed, mouthful by tiny mouthful.
Des verres Bouddha sur le marché de fruits. On mange le sourire et on crache les dents.
Green Buddhas on the fruit stand. We eat the smile and spit out the teeth.
She who usually feeds us is in a bad mood. Are you trying to eat me up? She shouts. She bares her teeth. It makes a low noise. Go study your manners, she said. And wipe your feet, she adds. She's a copper-headed waitress. Tired and sharp-worded, she hides her bad brown tooth behind a wicked smile and flicks her ass out of habit to fend off the past that passes for affection.
She keeps her mind the way men keep a knife, keen to strip the game down to her size.
She has a thin spine, swallows her eggs cold, and tells lies.
She slaps a wet rag at the truckers if they should complain.
She understands the necessity for pain. She turns away the smaller tips out of pride and keeps a flask under the counter.
She once shot a lover who misused her child. Before she got out of jail, the courts had pounced and given the child away.
Like some isolated lake, her flat blue eyes take care of their own stark bottoms.
Her hands are nervous, curled, and ready to scrape.
The common woman is as common as a rattlesnake.
The woman wore a floral apron. That woman from my mother's village, with a sharp cleaver in her hand. She said, "What shall we cook tonight? Perhaps these 6 tiny squid lined so perfectly on the block." She wiped her hand on her apron, pierced her blade through the first. There was no resistance, no blood, only cartilage, soft as a child's nose. A last iota of ink made us wince. Suddenly, the aroma of ginger and scallion fogged our senses, and we absolved her for that moment's barbarism. Then, she, an elder of the tribe, without elegance, without formal headdress, deigned to teach the younger of the Asian plight. And although we have traveled far, we would never forget that primal lesson on patience, courage, forbearance, on how to love squid despite squid, how to honor the village, the tribe, that floral apron.
Hers is the clean apron, good for fire or lamp to embroider. As we talk slowly in the long kitchen, while the white dough turns to pastry in the great oven. Sweetly and surely as haymaking in a June meadow. Hers are the hands, humble for milking, but still now in her wide lap as though it heard a quiet music. Hers being the voice that coaxes time back in the shadows of the room's corners. Oh, hers is all this strong body, this safe island where men may come, sons and lovers, daring the cold seas of her eyes.
My mother stretched dough thinner to its splitting edge. All that certainty gripped her wrist while she sieved breadcrumbs through her fingers, nuts, sugar, apples, lemon rind, laying down family legends like seams in a rock. Then she rolled it all up the length of the sweet dining room table. Beaten egg glazed the top, and still aroma to come, cooling and slicing. I didn't mind her watching me eat. I'd give back the heat of my need gladly, fuel to keep the cycle elemental, if you've watched birds feeding their young. To every celebration, she matched a flavor, giving us memory, giving exile the bite of bitter herbs. God's word drifted in fragrant soups. Vigor in the wine she made herself, clear and original. My mother's death changed the alchemy of food. Holidays run together now like ungrooved rivers. I forget what they are for. I buy bakery goods. They look dead under the blue lights. I don't do anything the way she taught me, but I get fat. I don't look like her, and I don't sound like her, but I stand like her. There must be rituals that sever what harms our connection to the past and lets us keep the rest. If not, let me invent one out of old scents and ceremonies. Let me fashion prayer from a piece of dough. Roll it out, cut it in the shape of my mother, plump, soft, and flour dusted, the way I once played cook with clay. Let me keep the cold, healing properties of female images and heated their power to hold fire. Let me bake her likeness in vessels made of earth and water. Let me bless the flames that turn her skin gold and her eyes dark as raisins. Let me bless the long wait at the oven door. Let me bless the first warm, dangerous taste of love. Let me eat.
I always eat peas with honey. I've done it all my life. They do taste kind of funny, but it keeps them on the knife.
I have eaten the plums that were in the icebox, and which you were probably saving for breakfast. Forgive me. They were delicious. So sweet and so cold.
Don't eat any food in your room, Mother said. You'll get more bugs. They depend on people like you. Otherwise, they would starve. But who do you want to make happy? Your mother or a bunch of ants? More fruit. What have they done for you? Nothing. They have no feelings. They'll eat your candy. Yet you keep feeding them. You never offer me anything.
I stopped to pick up the bagel, rolling away in the wind. Kind of annoyed with myself for having dropped it as if it were important. Faster and faster it rolled, with me running after it, bent low, gritting my teeth, and I found myself doubled over and rolling down the street, one complete somersault after another. Kind of like a bagel. And strangely, happy with myself.
Over the fence, strawberries grow. Over the fence, I could climb if I tried, I know. Berries are nice, but if I stained my apron, God would certainly scold. Oh well, I guess if he were a boy, he'd climb, if he could.
From Blossoms comes this brown paper bag of peaches we bought from the boy at the bend in the road where we turned toward signs painted peaches.
From laden boughs, from hands, from sweet fellowship in the bins comes nectarine at the roadside.
Succulent peaches we devour, dusty skin and all. Familiar dust of summer, dust we eat.
Oh, to take what we love inside, to carry within us an orchard.
To eat not only the skin, but the shade.
Not only the sugar, but the days.
To hold in our hands the fruit, adore it, and bite into the round jubilance of peach.
There are days we live as though death were nowhere in the background.
From joy
To joy.
To joy.
From wing
To wing,
From blossom
To blossom.
to impossible blossom.
To sweet.
Impossible blossom.